the one with the best chances to win in the classical format earlier in the classical game against Humpy, and that says a lot about her potential in this tournament.
I couldn't agree more. And so it didn't deliver the victory that that maybe was close for Pia Cromling, but she still is on the board with a loss in Armageddon. And all right, is Vaishali gonna get on the board like her brother did with a victory in Armageddon? I'm not liking the chances right now. Wenjun has maintained the edge that White starts with, not fully, but still a couple minutes, and the position looks great. Can I just take that pawn with check? It's a pawn and it's check, and I'm into that.
Yeah, I like a free pawn, free stuff with a check. I fully agree with you, Danny. Is there anything that we are missing, David?
I'm not so sure. I think I would take this pawn as well. But after the black king moves, if the white bishop, I was going to say, were to save itself, the bishop that was hanging on g5, there might have been a skewer at the end along the e-file, along with rook to e8. So she's actually allowing it again, Vaishali. Bishop takes e6, not taken up there by Wenjun, but jumping in instead with her knight. She's a pawn down with white, but her pieces are beautiful.
She prefers to keep the initiative and not risking anything with loose pieces, as you mentioned, that potential skewer on the e-file. So even though we would have gobbled up the pawn, thinking that's the best move, she's proving us that there's even stronger ways of continuing rather than just going pawn grabbing. I like it, that knight on d6, that's a beast.
A unicorn, an octopus controlling the whole board, eight arms, and that's what they have, right? 8 arms. I mean, let's count it out.
Try and draw them all. It is 8. You're right here, Danny. That is a big piece.
Yeah, okay, you can move the knight with a discovery. Computer likes to take b7 and then just take e6, keep it clean, keep it fresh. Bishop pair is all good. I was looking at knight takes b5, but then there's e5, and Vaishali, shout out to her, she's mixing it up. She's doing everything she can to try to tempt Wenjun to go for something crazy, right?
Yeah. Knight takes b5, I guess you could... yeah, at least
that was very polite to not call out my blunder. I appreciate that.
We've all done a Botez gambit from time to time there, Danny.
But knight takes b7 and taking e6 is simple.
Yeah. And simple and strong. That's what you've got to do at Armageddon. She's still got 2 minutes extra on the clock, so using it wisely. Wenjun, she does go for the cleanest. There we go. Now, bishop pair, level material. White has the pawn center. Black has a terrible knight on a6, at least temporarily. Black's king not entirely safe. Anna looks huge for white.
It looks huge with a pair of bishops and much better piece placement, with the knight on a6 being a really a big weak spot for black, and how that knight will need a lot of moves, a lot of maneuvering before it can even be a useful part of black's army. I don't think black has the time to do it, and she's pushing now c5 because obviously there's a pin on the d file. It would be a Botez gambit to take on c5, but even then, even like this, that we cannot take the pawn, it's just looking like white has a really nice advantage both on the clock and on the board.
Yeah.
She looked a bit nervous there. She kind of changed her position. She was scratching her head. She slowed down, Wenjun.
Yeah. Well, remember, she doesn't have the comfort of the eval bar like we do.
Yeah.
And she has to win. Right, White has to win, so c5 is an irritating move, maybe. I mean, if a trade on d4 happens and maybe that knight finds its way back into the fight, as you said, Anna, it's not, it's easier for us, right? And if f5 comes, by the way, and that bishop on g7 gets open to what would be an isolated queen pawn on d4, just saying, I think she leaned up for a reason. You got to be accurate here.
Yeah, and c5 is a really good move from Vaishali, we've got to say. If she was too slow, she would have been knocked out within the next few turns, and they do say against opposite color bishop, against the bishop pair even, you've got to accelerate the play. So c5, really nice shot. Queen b6, suddenly it's getting interesting.
Okay, she didn't see it, but queen b6 would have attacked the... Ooh, wait a sec. What is going on here?
Things are happening, and the bar is dancing a little bit.
Okay, we're dancing.
She's given up a pawn, Wenjun. She needs to justify it. The position's opened up, so favoring the bishops. But a pawn is a pawn.
And further simplification is easier for the defensive player in this particular case. I think that the bishop pair could win both those pawns, but if Vaishali finds a way to get rid of the a-pawn, you're in great shape to get a draw.
Yeah. Advantage here, like you said, Danny, it doesn't tell half the story of the eval bar here. You have to be super accurate just to kind of pursue any chance of an advantage for white. Offering to trade one set of rooks. The black rook on d6 is black's best defender right now, holding all of the open files. So it makes sense, but every trade guides black closer to a draw. Vaishali, she needs to...
Yeah, I'm liking how she's defending it. She's tenacious.
She really is, and I was going to say, how will she prevent rook to d7? She's preventing it by placing the knight back on the original square, but it does prevent rook d7. Bishop c5, as you're showing, David, looks very promising, so white definitely has here the upper hand, but she's down a pawn, so she needs to be very accurate, holding here the initiative, keeping it going.
Yeah, it's no direct knockout. I thought bishop c5 would win the game instantly, because once the black rook moves, you continue hitting it bishop f7, but the black rook just about has enough squares on the back rank to stop white's rook infiltrating. It's hanging by a thread for black right now.
It's hanging by a thread, but also the time advantage is
gone.
Is hanging by a thread and gone. Zhu and Wenjun under equal pressure. And one accurate move. This is a position, everyone, where forget white's advantage, because according to the computer, because it's based on the initiative. You have to keep playing every accurate move, right? And the moment you make one mistake, black is up a pawn. That is a concrete piece of material. So these positions can be hard to play once you lose that time advantage in your ability to maintain accurate play.
Very well said, Danny, and I think that's a key point to why Wenjun is spending time, because this is not clear cut. She doesn't have the engine eval bar, she doesn't have the engine moves. What she has is 1 minute and 14 seconds with no increment, because this is move 30, so they need to start playing really fast if they don't want to get to where Prague and Firouzja went in their game, not realizing they're going to flag.
Let's not go full Prague and Firouzja right now. My heart can't take it. That was wild if you missed it. We had full-time scramble. Go ahead, David.
She's got 5 seconds per move now, Vaishali, until she gets increment. So unless she wants to mirror the fate of her brother and get down to 1 second, that she really needs to speed up. But she had to give it back her pawn. There was no way to keep her extra material. Now the white bishop's really thriving with pawns on both flanks. The black A pawn might be doomed in the near future.
The knight on b8 struggling to be moved to any square at all.
Less of a knight, more of a donkey. That knight is absolutely dominated, and there goes the second pawn. So Zhu and Wenjun finally breaking through with the bishop pair turning into a concrete material edge, and that A pawn will run.
Yeah, maybe even start now. There we go. Protect your pieces. That pawn defends the white queen as well, unpinning the white light squared bishop. Really nice move there from Zhu Wenjun. She's been so accurate, I've got to say, pressing this advantage. She's not done anything flashy, but she's done what is necessary, and there we go, recoordinating the white pieces, protecting everything right now. Vaishali needs a miracle.
She does need a miracle at this stage, and I agree with you, David, that Zhu Wenjun has been converting this very, very precisely, very methodically is the word of the day.
Methodically is the word of the day, and Zhu Wenjun has been methodical at that, and now that they have reached move 40, by the way, they are now getting 1 second added with every move back onto their clock, which is kind of frustrating when you're the player who's in the worst position. Your practical chances of just flag them have gone away.
Oh, but that might be the killer move, the clincher. She's pinned the black dark square bishop. Vaishali throws away the bishop for the highest price, but white's king super safe. White's up a piece. This is over.
And she goes down on the clock.
She flagged, but she also was already down a piece. So a much-deserved win for the reigning women's world champion, who couldn't get that much out of the classical game. She was up a pawn, but Vaishali was defending very tenaciously and defended the